Now, as I mentioned, Knesset member May Golan has been a guest on the Rundown. In fact, she was here a couple of months ago. Here is a bit of what she had to say in our discussion about Israel's relations with the U.S.
As much as I have tremendous respect for the United States, obviously, but I don't see it in any way revolves around the fact that we have the right to build in our own land. And let me tell you, this is the country of the Jewish land, okay? Not the illegals, not the Palestinians.
Well, there are Palestinians that live here too.
Okay, no problem, and they live where they are, and we're not doing anything against it. We are not murdering them, they are murdering us.
And Danny, as we heard there, May Golan, outspoken. One slight difference between some of those other examples she's given, that she made her name in Israel as an activist against, I don't know if you would say immigration, but against the presence of African migrant workers or refugees, illegal workers in Israel. Yeah. That could be a particularly sensitive topic in New York City with its large African-American population and a city that's welcoming to immigrants.
Yes, but yeah, right. But you know, Calev, what the British say is where you sit is where you stand. So where she sits in the consul-general seat in New York, she will speak totally differently and she will see things in different perspective. Now, May Golan, I think Mike Wagenheim mentioned Danny Dayan. I remember when Danny Dayan was appointed. He looked even more extreme. He's a settler.
Right.
And he was well received because they gave him the benefit of the doubt, and he really, you know, fit the bill of a real consummate diplomat. I think she has the same probably characteristic of being a good diplomat. And by the way, from what you have mentioned, you know, her tweet, if you read, you know, in between the lines,
right,
the job is hers, and I believe we can all assume that she's going to be appointed. Now it is up to her to really be very respectful to the Jewish community. You know, New York is basically the Jewish community, but it's not just the Jewish community. It's also the capital of international media.
Right.
She will have to be media savvy, and from her interview with you, as we just showed now, she's quite media savvy. So I think she has a good chance to succeed.
Right. I'm just going to add this, maybe some politics. People wondering why she maybe has been appointed. There is some speculation that Prime Minister Netanyahu basically wants to move her out of Parliament, the Knesset, because she is among those who most strongly support the divisive judicial reforms that the government has now frozen, maybe even be backtracking on, and so that may be some political calculation.
Yes, and she belongs to the so-called camp of Yariv Levin.
The Justice Minister.
The Justice Minister, which is the Deputy Prime Minister. He is the strong man in the Likud, after Bibi Netanyahu, of course. And Bibi would really have his political interest to really diminish from the power of Mr. Levin. By the way, we see all the three appointments that Bibi made in New York, whether it was Danny Danon or Gilad Erdan, and now May Golan, they were all opponents of Bibi internally in Likud.